already been skeptical before he'd had the chance to make this video. With that in mind, it's time to wrap this up.
Like I said, I like his editing, I like his music choice, and I like his editing.
The long and short of this stuff is that Xanderhal has fostered a community of liberal toxic masculinity. No one here is listening to the victim. No one at all actually even understands that Lani is a victim. Nor do they understand that Sophie or Kira or the woke scolds that he talked about are also victims. They actually believe that Xanderhal is the victim in all of these situations, despite him having all the power in the situation with Lani and his fans being predispositioned to support him in the case of Sophie, Kira, and the quote-unquote woke scolds. In the situation with Lani, he is your traditionally toxically masculine, head of the household manly man. His community clearly have a sheer lack of understanding of material conditions, human rights, drug use, state violence, and financial violence. Not to mention homelessness, which is a clear indication that he doesn't educate his community on those things. And the fact that he called his video on his breakup debunking the allegations against me sort of implies that there's a conspiracy against him. This is a narrative that he falls back on a lot in his attack hit pieces.
If you search Xanderhal toxic masculinity, you get PragerU, TERF, doesn't understand toxic masculinity. Sydney Watson hypocritically argues that masculinity is dying. Men can't express trauma. I haven't seen this video. Is toxic masculinity actually toxic? This isn't by him. You have more videos against DJ Mule here. Great. What happened to man? This is actually a pretty good video. All these different things, right? Now, if we go to Xanderhal's page and we search toxic masculinity, we get him basically calling out toxic masculinity. And the reason I bring this up is because what did DJ Mule just say? Xan fosters a community of toxic masculinity. Completely disagree. No, he fosters a community, I would say, of positive masculinity. And in my experience, a lot of actually progressive leftists and people who I would try to emulate and try to build a community similar to do the same kind of thing. I talked before about, way in the beginning of this, about how I was introduced really to the concept of positive masculinity and the concept of toxic femininity by Vosh when he went over it. I've learned a lot of these concepts through more progressive creators like these people. And I'm gonna wait till that's done. To refer to these methods of doing things in order to stand up for yourself in a toxic relationship, as well as doing things to cut yourself off of toxic relationships, cut contact with people, not allow yourself to get taken advantage of by a partner, all of these different things. These are examples of positive masculinity. And the other direction, what DJ Mule is going for here is quite literally perpetuating toxic masculinity. This idea that, oh, you have to man up, you have to be tough, you have to just put up with what your partner does, like, you know, all these different things. This is entirely DJ Mule's message here.
on people like Sophie and Kira. I imagine he thinks this conspiracy exists because of all the other people on the online left who dislike him for fairly credible reasons. All the things I've mentioned in this video, plus a lot of other stuff that I simply can't mention because otherwise this video would...
Okay. All of these videos, all of them, are done in such a way to get clicks. I know clickbaiting is pretty cringe, but it's what we have to do to play the game. And when you have Xan having videos like this, and you have these titles, they are designed to attract attention from people. And maybe, I don't know if Xan does this specifically, but I'll tell you something that I do, is I deliberately try to come up with, every now and then, incendiary titles, because I want people who might not even be wanting or likely to view my content to view my content. For example, I have a video going up which is a discussion on my views about being pro-choice, and I gave it a very incendiary title. That'll be like 2 or 3 weeks from now, but even still, I have a discussion video about that going up, and I have all of these other different things in where the idea is to grab the audience's attention so that we can talk to you about what we need to talk to you about. It's no different when Xan or anybody else does thumbnails and titles like this.
Would be hours long. There are so many other people that I've not mentioned that Xanderhal has hurt with his ridiculous character assassinations and the harassment of his fans. I think we've covered a lot of facts in this video that point to our man Xan not having really recovered from his alt-right days. His misogyny is still there and he needs to do a lot of work to unlearn his harmful behaviors, plus his aggression towards trans people who disagree with him and his debate bro pals, while simultaneously sticking up for those who do what he says, is clearly an example of his queer phobia not being properly dealt with either. His lack of good...
I love how he shows this clip of again, without audio, this clip of Bad Bunny here, without, and saying how Xan has queer phobia. And this is the clip that I showed earlier, where Bad Bunny specifically says she, A, does not want to have any relations with a bisexual male, and B, that if the thought of especially a black bisexual man having sex with another man makes her throw up in her mouth. I just love the irony that DJ Mule is using this clip here while discussing Xan's queer phobia. I love it.
Grace and faith in attacking Kira shows that he actually doesn't believe his own mantra that you can debate Nazis in the marketplace of ideas and convert them, because apparently someone having said bad stuff in the past is absolutely inexcusable if it's a woman that he doesn't like.
But if it's a woman that DJ Mule does like, he will give them not only good faith, but he will make every excuse in the book to defend them because it's a woman that he wants to put his dick in.
When Xan attacks people he doesn't like, there's a whole lot of projection going on. He calls Kira a terrible person who doesn't deserve redemption from her days as an alt-writer. He says that Sophie might have some good...
Nope, it's not that she doesn't... No, it is not because he hasn't forgiven her for moving from her old alt-right ways or anything like that. It is because she is still doing things that are harmful to people, in not even like a political thing or optically or anything like that. Just she is still being a shitty person. It's got nothing to do with her politics really at all. She just happens to be in a similar sphere as Xan and other people like that. But the issue is not her politics. The issue is that she's a shitty person. There's a thing, Vosh, and I think possibly Hassan and Xan, maybe a couple other people have said this too, but, you know, the reality is having good politics does not automatically make you a good person. It just doesn't. And at the same time, of course, having bad politics doesn't necessarily make you a bad person, depending on what those, you know, politics are, if you're somebody who thinks like, gay people shouldn't be allowed to get married or something, that's, I'd say you got some work to do as a human being at that point. But I get it. I did too. And Hunter did, and Xan did, and it's good for people to mature and become better. But the difference with Kira, Bad Bunny, is that even after she had claimed that she changed her ways, so to speak, she was still uttering really harmful rhetoric. Like, not only is she not personally attracted to bisexual men, which, preferences are valid, but that the idea of a black man with another man would make her throw up. That's just clear homophobia, or at least biphobia. Possibly racism too, not sure on that though.
Political opinions, but she's a terrible person. He calls Lani a master manipulator and implies that she was a terrible partner. He says that
which seems like she was. Maybe not master manipulator, but she was definitely using a lot of manipulation tactics there.
Woke scolds are mentally ill people who need validation from the internet because they never go outside. These are all things that could be applied to Xanderhal himself. All this, coupled with a refusal to self-reflect, simply means that he's a narrow-minded man who's stuck in his own bizarre world of failed Minecraft YouTuber dreams and mummy issues. And it's sad. Lots of people like Xanderhal because, like his debate bro friends, they offer a window into politics where you don't actually have to do anything, except for what the system says you can already do, and this makes them feel like they're making a difference in a world that they correctly know is bad. He reinforces the belief that you can change.
So he's going back to his LARPing anti-electoralism take. This is great.
The system from within the system. And people love that. Because people with privilege and comfort don't want to do anything other than what they already do. They don't want to change their mind too much. They enjoy the cruelty and puritanical cult-like behavior that's encouraged in white Western.
Yeah, they don't want to challenge themselves and think too much and change their ways. Not at all. Not at all, DJ Mule. Of course, you're so wise. You're so... Jesus Christ, this guy.
Colonial society. He reinforces their prejudice and basically makes them feel like they're doing.
What is this? Did you read my paper on confirmation bias? Yes, but only prove what I already knew.
And activism, whereas really they just have posting disease, thinking that you can change the world with minimal online activity. It's arguable that Xanderhal does nothing for progress despite his progressive opinions about race, gender, and sexuality. The dogpiling he encourages on marginalized people pretty much cancels out the perceived good work that he does. But there's a reason for all.
Nope. He has never once attacked trans people as a whole, gay people as a whole, anything, any marginalized group as a whole. He's called out specific people that he's had issues with in the community, as it were. Nothing wrong with that. People are individuals.
This being the focus of the content. We already know he was struggling for money living out with Lani, and of course he knows that having centrist drama-based content is a lot more lucrative because, well, simply put, people are ghouls and they love that shit. The debate scene is something that reinforces this observation because people like Destiny and Vosh rake in sizable incomes for having paper-thin positions and wildly fluctuating moral compasses, which reinforce the biases of their mostly centrist neoliberal viewers. And people love the drama, the blood sport of the debate community. And ultimately, it doesn't get us anywhere. As mentioned earlier, there is no actual evidence that says that debate stops people from having bigoted opinions, nor does it stop them from hiding them. No, lots of people let those opinions out when somebody upsets them, as we've seen with our Zanny man. My friends Sophie and Kira have spoke to me in private about the harassment that they've gotten from Xanderhal's community, and it is fucking heartbreaking. These are not people that need any more shit in their lives, Xanderhal. These are phenomenal people and allies who would have supported you and fought for you if you'd only just done a little bit of work to unlearn those harmful behaviors. Take some criticism on the chin and apologize. It's that shitty debate bro mentality you've got of never conceding and never showing weakness. It doesn't help anybody, including you. I actually started making content criticizing the debate circuit because of the tweet that Sophie made that you unceremoniously blasted and sent your community after her for. I already knew that debate bros were a farce in terms of their progression for the left, but that harassment and hate that you sent my friend's way radicalized me against the debate bro circuit in its entirety. I don't want to be doing hour-plus long videos about nerds who just need to fucking log off for a month and read some theory. I want to be doing content about how we can literally change the world and all the awesome activism that people are doing right now. I want to restore people's faith in humanity, but you and your mates are clogging up the online political space and hurting people. And it's gotta fucking stop. You even said yourself how disappointed you are that the majority of people end up disliking you before you've even got a chance to get to know them. Ugh, who am I kidding? He's not even fucking watching the video, is he? He won't even watch this shit the entire way through. All in all, when Xanderhal talks about why he started streaming, his political journey and what happened to him during that journey, plus his hopes and dreams, I find myself relating to him a lot. Like, we started streaming for the same reasons. He wanted to be a gaming streamer, so did I. He got into politics because he realized there was something up with the world, so did I. He enjoys what he does in the politics scene, so do I. So how did Xan get so close but so far from being super based? I'm literally 10 years older than Xanderhal, but I've got a lot of faith in Zoomers. They seem to be really well politically aligned, far more so than millennials. But with Xanderhal, I just feel this huge disappointment. This video isn't an attempt at cancellation because, hell, as we all know, that doesn't work. This is just to point out to everyone, including Xanderhal, that the debate bro circuit and debate culture as a whole has got some extremely harmful behaviors that need to stop. If you've been on the fence about Xanderhal, or even if you've been watching this whole thing, foaming at the mouth, raging that I dare criticize him, all I want is for you to consider what I've said. It doesn't matter in the long run if you change your minds, because I know that people are eventually going to move away from debate bro content. The world is changing in vast, phenomenal ways, and we're on the precipice of something amazing. And most people will forget all this drama content. They'll forget all the debate bros, all the drama channels, and communities will thrive and support each other under the worsening material conditions of global capitalism. There's so much more that you can use your online influence for. People are doing amazing things all across the world, and you could be covering that and giving hope to people. All I've seen in Xanderhal's comments over the last month of researching for this video is people complaining that the left is fracturing, and nothing will get done while the left is always fighting like this. And well, that's just not true. Despite all this terminally online bullshit, people are making headway. People are waking up to the fact that their governments don't care about them. People are taking matters into their own hands and looking after each other. Xanderhal's audience and the entire debate bro audience are caught in a spiral of doomerism, but it could all change overnight. Just think about it. Seriously. Thank you so much for watching this, everyone. Holy shit, this is like the longest video I've ever made. Look at the fucking word count for this script. Jesus Christ. Now, listen, I'm not being funny, but I deserve a few new patrons for this.
Okay, now he's gonna shell his Patreon and stuff, which, whatever. Get your bag. I realized that I just let him, go through his whole conclusion there uninterrupted, and I feel it was fair to let him do that. But his conclusion and everything that he really talked about is precisely why I wanted to go over this video in the first place, why it was so important for me to do so. I mentioned in the beginning of this video how the beginning of covering his video, the beginning of this playlist, that I personally was more center right-leaning and did a lot of work to change my beliefs on a lot of different things. I learned a lot, I educated myself in a lot of different ways. The majority of that, quite frankly, though, was through people like Xanderhal and Vosh and Hassan, and even some of people like Stephen Colbert and people like that. But primarily, it was through watching these people cover videos by people like Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, some of ContraPoint's video essays. Some of her videos helped me to reconsider some things, and I think I genuinely came out a better person because of all of it. But the problem with DJ Mule's take on all of this, that we don't need people like this. And I know he didn't specifically say we don't need people like, say, ContraPoints or people like that even. But the reason it's good to have people, even if they aren't debating, like I myself, I don't think I'll ever want to do actual debates, but I definitely want to keep covering videos like this, is because this stuff is in the public eye. These are the kind of issues that people care about, and the kind of things that push people to the right in the first place, and can also be used to, well, properly educate them and bring people away from that. If I had gone the wrong direction, if I had taken the wrong step in my own political journey, where I learned in the summer of 2020, I was already deconstructing and coming to a better understanding about the world around me, and was deconstructing my religious beliefs. Around the same time, maybe even shortly thereafter, I had come across the video that was all over the news about George Floyd. I was on Twitter, and I saw that people were talking about this memorial for him. I was confused. What is this about? What is this memorial? And I started looking into it. I looked at the page about the memorial, the donation page. I can't remember what those are called off the top of my head. It's not GoFundMe, but it's something like that. I believe it was a change.org petition for police brutality in general. And then, of course, rightfully so, protests really started ramping up more and more. And then we had all the insanity, the misinformation about COVID, and so many different things that if I had remained ignorant or went the other way with my own political ideas, if it weren't for people like Vosh and Zan and Hassan, maybe even Destiny, and people like that, I honestly don't know what my beliefs would be politically or otherwise. And I don't know what I'd be doing really with my life right now. I got into doing this kind of thing because I felt that I had something different to say than these people. And I have a unique way of being able to present myself and cover issues that are important to me to an audience that I hope will listen. So when DJ Mule talks so disparagingly about these people and the concepts that they represent, and he keeps reinforcing these ideas that essentially women can do no wrong, and other identity politics based issues like that, such as if you're a privileged person, you're cis, het, white, or male, or all of the above, you don't have a right to speak about negative things that marginalized people do. You don't have a right to call out people like Blair White. You don't have a right to criticize people like Candace Owens. And the right loves that shit. They love people like DJ Mule. He is the perfect, what is the word? There's a phrase for this, the useful idiot. He is their perfect useful idiot, because what he will do through these hit pieces, through this mentality, and a lot of people that are known as tankies are this way, is they will push people further away from progressive ideas. They make it inhospitable for new people to join. Meanwhile, the right goes stronger and stronger. I mean, we have a major resurgence of neo-Nazis here right now in the United States. We're basically on the edge of fascism. And if we lose our democracy, we're not getting it back. So the fact that DJ Mule is so callous about all of this, so uncaring, so pretentious, when there are issues that really matter, social and political issues that really matter, that people like Zen are covering, that will help to make the world a better place, it's sickening. I mean, it really is. He is the epitome of everything that I used to think the left is. He is the epitome of everything that the right, conservatives, believe the left is, or at least want the general population to believe the left is. He is, truthfully, an abuser in leftist clothing. He absolutely is. I really like this tweet. I really like this image. You want to learn more? What do you want, a trophy? Yeah, totally. Thanks for not being total human garbage. Round of applause for you. It's not my job to educate you. I don't exist to serve you. White people like you always ask questions, which is proof of how being white is bad. How about you go Google feminism? It should be pretty easy to get a grasp of what's expected of you quickly. You know what happens if you actually do that? If you actually Google feminism? So, sure, you get the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes. True, that's great. But if you look far enough, and especially if you're in the right kind of circles that these guys are in, you want to know more? Awesome. What do you want me to educate you about first? Do you want to know about scientific arguments for racism? Wait, let me get my Muslim rape statistics. The SJWs have infiltrated the media and academia, so I'm the only educator you can trust. I'll teach you everything. People like DJ Mule are exactly what make people like this strong, and people like me, and possibly you watching, want to listen to them and turned off by people like this guy. DJ Mule claimed that Xanderhal and others like him use leftism as an aesthetic. Yet the entire time, he's constantly using these buzzwords and calling things like not doing food waste reproductive labor, constantly blaming everything on capitalism, which, yes, it does have its issues, and many other different things. All of the leftist buzzwords, talking points, he is wanting to make people who already agree with him even more. And that's fine. But this isn't a social club. This is an ideology which focuses on trying to make things as best we can and as fair as we can for the majority of people. Look, I know that I myself have some takes in the leftist sphere that is kind of looked down upon. I'm sure that if people are willing to listen to what I have to say about some of them, especially when it comes to things like true gender equality and stuff like that, I think they'll make a lot more sense. But people like DJ Mule are just completely reductive, harmful to the movement. And at the end of the day, they are absolutely the kind of leftist that conservatives think you are. With all of this done, with all of this said, with all of this covered, I did enjoy doing this. There were definitely some moments thinking that this was kind of, really rough, and I just wanted to move on to some other things, and I absolutely am going to be moving on to some other things. I hope you enjoyed this kind of content. I definitely plan on making more like it in the future. These are, at the end of the day, my thoughts, my opinions, my views, my rationalities, etc. Please let me know what you think about this video, this playlist, any of these things in the comments down below there. If you enjoyed what you saw, subscribe and ring the bell to stay up to date. Leave a like if you like, and if not, I genuinely hope you find something to do like. Later, guys. Peace and love.